Alright, welcome back. Let's get started. Alright, so on opening night, I went to see the Predator film. I'm not gonna mince my words, and I'm just gonna say flat out, I think this movie is a bad movie. I didn't like it. The plot is a mess, the characters are forgettable, and it's very inconsistent about what they can and can't do. And at the same time, they make the Predator seem kind of weak in certain situations. The technology is super simple enough for humans to understand, and at the same time not understand. And this movie is bad. The big fight between the big Predator and the OG Predator, the smaller one I'm calling the OG, that fight for myself is disappointing. I want to say that the Predator fights, all the fights that included a Predator, is about 20-25 minutes long. Like, if you were to gather all the fights and just mash them all together, it'd be about 25 minutes at most. And with a movie that's an hour and 47 minutes long, to take away some credits, it's not enough. Most of this movie is just the characters running away, talking, bantering, joking around. The big bad guy isn't the Predator. Well, for the most part, it's not supposed to be the Predator. I didn't really realize who the bad guy was until like the second half of the second act. That's when I realized, oh, he's supposed to be the bad guy. I did not get that at all. I want to end the spoiler-free section here because I have too much to talk about that I want to get into the spoilers section now. So in conclusion, the movie is a bad movie. The plot is a mess. Characters are forgettable. It's inconsistent. This movie tried way too hard to be an action comedy rather than being a Predator film, and that's not what I wanted. So if that's what you're looking for an action comedy, go for it. Try this movie out. The comedy for me didn't really land. There are so many jokes in this movie that, looking back, I think at most a fifth of the jokes landed. So spoiler-free section now. Over. Spoiler talk now. The whole gimmick is that the Predator who's running away from the big Predator is supposed to be the good guy. He's there supposed to be to help us. Why? Because global warming is destroying the planet, and we only have like a generation or two until we all die out. Now, I have no problem with global warming. I see the facts, and yes, global warming is a real thing. But I don't appreciate that they're including that to the Predator lore when you find out that the Predators only care because they take our DNA from our spines and they inject it in themselves to make themselves stronger. That's it. The lore they added to the Predators is that they go to each planet, find the strongest species on that planet, rip out the skulls and spines, and take the DNA from it and somehow put them inside themselves to make themselves stronger. And in a way, that's a cool thing, but that's not what a Predator is, nor is it as badass as a Predator going to each planet to prove it's the biggest and baddest Predator. And I hate it. I'll be honest, I hate it. I wanted the Predators to stay as the Predators and give us a cool kind of survival action film with the Predators. Anyways, for that plot, the whole thing is that the Predators are coming to Earth to take the brightest and strongest of us to as soon as possible, because there's no telling when we'll all die and go extinct. So that's why the Predators are coming here more frequent and why we're being attacked more often. So I can see why they wanted to explain that, but I just kind of wish they didn't. But that's not the dumbest part, because the good Predator he's there to help us. He's there to help us fight off the Predators, the other ones, and that's all good and dandy. But why is he killing everyone he meets? Keep in mind, we don't find out he's supposed to be the good guy until towards the last act. That's when we find out that he's supposed to be the good guys. And for the audience, we're like, what? He just killed like 20 people. If he was the good guys, why didn't he just disarm them or knock them out? He's the Predator. He has the strength to do that. And he killed them pretty gruesomely. He didn't kill one person, and that was Olivia Munn. I can understand why you did that and why you showed us that imagery. It's to show us that the Predator doesn't harm anybody who isn't hostile to him, like someone who isn't ready to attack him. But you should have been more clear about it. That was only one time that the Predator doesn't kill someone. The rest of the time, he's killing everybody left and right. And he doesn't have to be. If you want your audience to believe that the Predator is supposed to be a good guy, stop showing us that he's killing every single human. But that doesn't last, because immediately after the big Predator comes in and fights the OG Predator, he kills him. That fight lasts maybe 5 minutes. At tops, 5 minutes. And we didn't even get to see that fight continuously because they keep cutting back to the humans. And he rips out his head and spine, like a Predator does. Oh well. And then the big Predator becomes the big bad guy that they have to kill. But then we find out that the actual bad guy, or another bad guy I guess, is the secret organization that captured the Predator in the first place. Because yes, they captured the Predator somehow. I don't know. Guys, this movie is a mess. I want to go more into detail about the spoiler and just talk about the movie, but to be honest, just talking about it is making me upset. And it's not like I had high expectations for this film. I just wanted to see a good action movie featuring a Predator. I don't know how am I supposed to take this movie seriously? How am I supposed to buy into the tension that this movie is trying to build? And I don't. And here's the other thing: you go to a Predator movie to see characters get killed in very creative, very gruesome ways, and yet all of the main cast survives into the last act. Yes, they get killed eventually, but like I wanted that to be spread out a bit more and have them just kind of like die one by one, them all trying to fight off this Predator. But that doesn't happen because most of the time it's humans fighting humans. And that's not what I wanted. I don't want to see humans fighting humans. I can see that in any other movie. I came here to see the Predator fighting humans. And we only get that at the very end of this movie. And that in itself is just dumb how they do it. And this one thing I do want to mention. Olivia Munn's character does something that is completely unbelievable. And I don't know how this happened. Maybe I forgot like a little part of this movie that makes this little what her character did make sense. But until someone tells me in the comments below, I don't know. This makes no sense, and it's just completely baffling how she did this. Alright, so this is what happened. The Predator goes into its ship. The dad jumps on his ship and he fights the Predator inside the ship. Keep in mind that at this point the ship is now flying away. And Olivia Munn's character was not on that ship. She was on foot. Keep that in mind. She was on foot, and yet somehow, when the McKinnon's dad and the others take down that plane and land it, Olivia Munn's character is exactly right there where that plane lands. Explain this to me. It went flying for a good 5 minutes. Then they take it down. Alright, in nowhere did I see that plane go back and circle around. That plane was just moving forward and it was going up to outer space. When it comes back down, that plane should be miles away. Olivia Munn's character is on foot. How in the world did she get from where that plane took off to immediately where that plane landed? How did that happen? Did I miss a spot? Did I forget something integral? Does she have some superpowers that no one is talking about? Because if she does, she should be the one fighting the Predator. And she's able to do all these other things. And fine, whatever. We don't get a detailed backstory to her, so I can accept that to a degree. Her being able to teleport is another thing that I am not willing to just let fly by. So, people down below, if you know what she did, how she got from point A to point B, tell me. Because that's where I checked out. That's all I wanted to say. because we find out what the good Predator took away from the Predator homeland, what he stole and gave to mankind to fight off the Predators. The whole time we were thinking that, oh, it's a solution to global warming, but no, they open it and it's a gauntlet type thing. A scientist comes in, is like, oh, is this, like, what is this? Does this, the dumb scientist thing that people do in movies, goes in to touch it, and immediately that gauntlet gets attached to him, and it forms a Predator. I'm losing the words to describe it because it's so dumb. It's pretty much armor to fight the Predators. And it's kind of like, think about it as Tony Stark Iron Man's armor. Like, that is what happened. It's this gauntlet that when you put it on, gives you this armor with all these freaking alien guns to fight off the Predators. And while I did check out with the Olivia Munn character just teleporting, when I saw that armor, that's when I lost all hope for this franchise. If they make a sequel to this film, I'm gone. I'm not gonna watch it. Unless they reboot, I'm just gonna stick to the Arnold one. Heck, I'll even watch the 2010 one, the Predators one. That movie isn't great or even kind of good, but it's much better than this hot mess. So that's that. Man, guys, this movie was a mess. I really am disappointed in it. Oh, goodbye.